Alright, so you're looking to build some extra muscle, but you have no idea how to go about that. You actually did yourself a huge favor by clicking on my video. I'm going to go ahead and teach you guys how you can build up some extra muscle, okay? So first things first, before we get into it, sub to my channel, that's one. And number two, when we get into the weightlifting idea of wanting to change our lives and whatnot, I want you guys to reframe your mindset first, okay? I need you guys to understand that building muscle takes a very long time. You can see some kind of change in a few months, but again, don't expect some kind of significant transformation in a very short amount of time, okay? Building muscle takes a very long time. It's a very patient game. I want you guys to understand or go into it believing that you're gonna be doing this for a long time. It's just gonna be a part of your life. It's not gonna be something that you do now and then stop and then come back and then stop. It's gonna be consistent. In order for you to gain the muscle mass that you're looking for, requires you to be in a hypertrophic rep range. So basically we're going for a hypertrophy, meaning that the rep range is going to be around 8 to around 12 reps, around 8 to 12 repetitions. So when I say 8 to 12, I mean this is going to be a rep range that you can barely do more than 12, ideally. Like you can't, if you tried, you can't do 15. That makes sense? And also the amount of weight that you're going to be doing is around 75 to 80% of your 1 rep max. So let's say if you max 100 pounds on the bench press, then for a hypertrophy training day on chest, you're going to be using around 80 pounds instead of 100 pounds. Simple enough, right? Now you're going to be doing this to ensure the max amount of tension in your muscles, and also if you slow down the movements too, also again engages the muscles even further. Now I'm gonna teach you guys how to do it. I know some people on the internet will be like, in order for you to do it, you need to make sure that you lift super heavy weights and you only do 10 reps, only do 3 sets of 10. Shut up. Y'all don't even know what y'all, man. It's the same people with them skinny arms, them skinny SpongeBob arms saying stuff like that. Just do 3 sets of 10 and you'll be good. And man, shut up. So there are some steps that go into it beforehand. One thing is going to be a form. Okay, form is going to be an integral part to your training, because if your form is poor, I don't care how much weight you think you're lifting. I don't care how big your ego is and you try to lift more than you really can. If your form is bad, then you're not getting as much profit as you can. Before you get into any weight training, you need to understand how to lift your weights. And I'm serious about this. If you go in bench pressing and you're doing the improper form, like your elbows are flaring out, or maybe like the range of motion isn't as long as it should be, or let's say if you're squatting and your feet are pronating outwards and all that kind of stuff, you will not get as much as you possibly can, and you run the risk of injuring yourself, which is going to take you out of the gym and make you even more upset that you haven't made the progress that you want to make. Okay, I need you to go online and look up videos, anything. Just look up videos of, let's say, like bench press, and make sure that the person is, guiding you, telling you like what you should be doing, like giving you like little cues. And by cues, I mean when you come back, like you retract the shoulders and then you exhale on the way up and that kind of stuff. You need to understand how you're lifting, and that's going to be your first step. You need to know what you're doing. Do not come in here lifting a bunch of weights thinking you're going to get big and your form is poor. That's false. Now it comes into practicing. Like you need to go in there and practice on your own. You need to make sure that your form is correct, and also it really helps to have a gym partner, so they can, someone who's more experienced preferably, so they're looking at you and they can correct you as you're going. Okay, you can only go so far by yourself, and having someone there with you can really help expedite the process of getting more accustomed to the gym and weight training and whatnot. And now after that, it comes into like just training and coming in and showing up. Like you need to come to the gym. Stop skipping your workouts, please. Don't come to me and then you're like, hey King Kai, I'm not making any progress. Like, okay, well, how many times did you work out this week? And you tell me like 2 and you plan 5. Ooh, I ought to hit the camera. That's why you're not making any progress. You gotta be consistent. Show up. All right, now coupled with your hypertrophy training, I want you to ensure that you're making some kind of progress every single week, and that's going to be a term called the progressive overload, meaning that you're increasing the stress on the muscles every week, and you're keeping track of this to make sure that you are making some progress. I understand like keeping track isn't It's not sexy, it's not fun, like no one's really trying to keep track of stuff, but like you need to understand like what you're doing. But again, if you're a beginner, then I don't really think it's necessary for you to be so precise about everything you're picking up. But like when you start getting more adept and more educated, then yeah, at some point you need to know what you're doing, or you need to know what you're lifting. So that's, again, apply the progressive overload in your training. Everything basically comes down to showing up. Again, you don't need to do any crazy acrobatics, so you don't need to do any silly deadlifting on the top of a mud storm or something. I'm sorry, I'm just talking about like Instagram, and like Instagram influencers do all this crazy stuff, and they also do a lot of cardiovascular and high rep ranges, and that's not that great for building up muscle, because again, like I said, muscles build from tension, and they also build from a specific rep range under a specific amount of stress, which is going to be the weight. And doing 50 reps with very little tempo control, no holds, no tension, anything like that is not conducive to building up muscle, because that's a 1 second pause isn't really that, well, yeah, it's not that much. Like 1 second tempo, that's what I meant. As in, like, it takes you 1 second to do the entire repetition. That's not enough. That's not enough. That's why that doesn't build you muscle. It can build up endurance. It can build up endurance, but not necessarily muscle. So that is going to be a very quick and easy way on how you can build up some muscle. Of course, there's lots of other different nuances and things that you need to take into account, but essentially that is how it goes. If you guys enjoyed the video, like it, subscribe, scroll down, subscribe, all that stuff. Deuces.